You ready for me to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone as you get settled on this call. We're really excited to announce and say that we're working with Megan um, to develop this key executive second in command program that she will run. And I will let her talk all about that. But let me introduce Megan. She is the founder and owner of Second First, a coaching and consulting firm dedicated to the vital yet under-supported second in command of entrepreneurial companies. Through national mastermind memberships, one-on-one coaching, certification programs, and executive matchmaking, Second First equips right-hand leaders with the confidence, systems, and peer support they need to scale their business with impact, transforming their partnership with the founder in the process. Megan is also the host of the Right Hand Roadmap, the only podcast specifically created for seconds in command of founder-led small businesses. You should definitely listen to it. It's great. Check it out wherever you listen to your podcast. An experienced COO and CPA, Megan most recently served as the second in command of a $10 million IT company. Her leadership has earned recognition, including the National Business Journal's 40 Under 40, the Nashville Emerging Leader Award, Stevie Woman of the Year, and Belmont University's Top 100 Alumni Entrepreneurs. In addition to her professional work, Megan is also a professional athlete, bringing her discipline and commitment to winning in all aspects of her life. So, Megan, I am going to turn it over to you to do your thing.
Thank you, Danielle. I don't think there's anything more cringe than having someone read a bio in front of you, but thank you. Is my screen showing for everyone? I feel like we've all asked that a million
Yes.
times since 2020. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I want to start off with a quick video, just kind of from the mouth of our members, and then I will dig into what this is going to look like with EO Nashville and any questions you might have. So let's go.
Hey, Megan, I don't know if it's just me, but the audio's not playing.
Yeah, no sound.
You're not getting any sound?
Mm-mm.
Oh no. Well, I don't know how to fix that.
I can send it out to the folks
Okay.
that registered.
Okay. That's a bummer.
If
Okay.
you share your screen again, and then on the bottom of the share, it will show a little thing that says include audio.
Jared to the rescue.
Bless you.
There we go. Let's try again.
Okay. Ugh, you guys are the best. Thank you.
I think the second in command role is challenging for a lot of reasons.
You have to make decisions for the betterment of the company, and sometimes that can be very difficult.
Usually the second in command holds securely the vision of the visionary, and it's usually somebody else's dream.
You're a jack of all trades. You are managing so many different people, so many different projects, and it can be a very lonely position.
At times, especially when you're in smaller organizations that I've been in, you sometimes are the only executor. It's hard to be that one, which again is why I love this group.
I decided to participate because to me it was really interesting to make new connections with people that are in the same role and have the same probably struggle as me.
CEOs have a place to go. They have lots of different organizations. And it's tough to find a group of COOs or integrators or sort of second in commands that you can really talk to and discuss and have, time and space to learn from one another.
The part that I'm most excited about with this experience is to be able to network with other integrators that are like-minded, so I don't have to sort them myself and find them.
I'm most looking forward to being in the hot seat so that my peers can help me figure out how to make a better decisions in the business.
I think it's fascinating to be in a group with so many different industries.
Sometimes you just need that camaraderie and you need that support system outside of your business and outside of your local network.
I've been in there a few hours, but knowing that I can contact another 9 people that are in similar roles and just saying, hey, this is some of the things I'm dealing with, or is going to be huge for my career moving forward, and just be able to lean on somebody.
What I love about this group and what I love about Megan is that community that she is building. We do have a couple of special guests. Great, love that. But that's not the bulk of the time. Bulk of the time is really learning from one another.
I would say one of the big differences with Megan's Second First is that she has come to the meeting prepared and asked a lot of deep questions of each of us. That's allowed us to have deeper conversations than just superficial, how's your business doing, what's going on.
She's not dictating to you what to do. She's not coming forth as some expert, so listen to her, even though she is. She is asking all the right questions. She's facilitating the conversation and really providing a lot of time and space for strategic thinking, and that's unique.
As soon as I saw Megan, I hugged her. I felt like I knew her. She is accessible. I think that is really what allows the members to feel that they are in a trusted and safe environment.
What I'm looking for, at least, and what I think a lot of folks in my role are looking for, are others who have been through it. I'm not being preached to, and I think that is the biggest difference.
People should be part of something like this because a second in command typically likes to think that we can operate on our own and get it all done by ourselves, and that's just not the case. We limit ourselves at times by just sticking to the job and getting it done, but we have got to pull ourselves out and be able to work on the business, and that's what this offers.
If you're not entirely sure how you need to grow, you know that there is room for growth. Being in this room, being with people like you who will be able to challenge you and accept you and support you at the same time it's a gift. And so to me, it's real exciting to know that our organization like this exists to help us to, resolve or kind of know that we're not alone on this.
If you're in a similar senior level position, you're in that integrator role, you're second in charge, just to be able to come here, meet other people in the same position, and think it's just, super beneficial and something that I would urge anybody to do.
All right. So Danielle already gave you the full kind of picture on me, but as the founder of Second First, I was in that seat. I was a COO for about 10 years and have really modeled this membership over exactly what I wish that I had while I was in that role. So first, let's just define when we talk about key executive or second in command, who are we talking about? Because you saw a lot of titles in that video. The way we define it is just a leader in your business that reports directly to you as the entrepreneur. And these are some sample titles that we have as members, and you'll see there's a wide variety. So we have the COO, the chief of staff, the general manager. Those are all very expected. We also have an EA because honestly, badass EAs operate as chiefs of staff in your business. We have a marketing manager because the nature of the company and the entrepreneur, it's very specialized. So especially in entrepreneurial businesses, title matters very little. It's more so the function of the person. Why is EO Nashville offering this? So when I met with Samira back in the spring, we had a great conversation about what it might look like to kind of reboot a second in command program. And obviously, EO provides this high impact community for founders. The second in command or the key executive in your business also has similar responsibilities. They share similar burdens, but they're often left peerless. You heard in the video the word like lonely mentioned a few times. So using the national membership model that we have at Second First, it seemed like a natural fit to reboot what the second in command program for EO Nashville would look like. And we'll talk about the differences because it's different than a forum and there's a purpose to that. So there's a couple pain points that we often see when the second in command is not supported. First are operational breakdowns. So this is when you as the entrepreneur, and I know that we have some seconds in command on here too. So this is kind of shared experience, but the entrepreneur will get bogged down in the day-to-day operations. Your growth slows down, your goals slow down, you can start to burn out, right? We also see what we call organizational whiplash starting to happen when you don't have a partner to help prioritize your ideas. So you might be changing direction, you might be abandoning certain goals before you complete them. That's where a strong second in command with that support can really come in and help. We also see a second in command gap. So a lot of entrepreneurs will promote someone into this seat or hire someone into this seat, but then not quite know how to set them up for success, or might not have the time or the resources to develop them internally. If you are a key executive or a second in command on this call, tell me if this sounds familiar, where you turn to books and podcasts and Harvard Business Review and what I call obsessive consuming to try and DIY your own professional development. And so this is a way to really formalize that support, because there's no playbook for this role. It's really rare that someone's going to step into a second in command role and have a complete outline of what that job looks like. So our second in command membership, I mentioned it looks a little different than Forum. We have 4 main parts to our membership. So we have the private EO Nashville Mastermind cohorts. I'll explain what all of these are in a second. So these are the small groups that each member is placed into. Similar to how EO is broken down into forums, that's what our cohorts are. We have downloadable tools and templates. We have expert-led training sessions, and then we also have access to the national Second First community as a whole. So I want to dig into these mastermind cohorts, these small groups, these meetings that we have. So these are curated small groups, again, very similar to how EO is broken into forum, approximately 10 members each. We meet quarterly virtually for a half-day mastermind. Why quarterly and not monthly like EO? First of all, key executives or seconds in command have 0 calendar time. So to ask them to dedicate a monthly meeting is really tough. Second of all, we go deep. So there's pre-work involved. We have a lot that we pack into these masterminds. So quarterly really is a good cadence for the amount that goes into them. And third, we end each meeting with, what are your action items? So what are the ideas that you just heard today that you're going to implement in your business? Or what are your action items that you're going to make sure you complete by the next meeting? So a quarter gives enough time to accomplish that for our members. Each small group cohort also has a private area in our online platform. So we run our membership off of a software called Circle. It's a membership software. And so each cohort has its own space. For EO Nashville, each of our cohorts are going to be EO Nashville only. So while you'll be able to obviously talk to the Second First community as a whole, this is going to be dedicated to EO Nashville. And you can see that this is a little Instagram post that a member made from one of her last meetings. So during these quarterly mastermind meetings, we do light benchmarking. And I say light because there's really one purpose to it. Each quarter, we benchmark certain operational metrics. For all members, we use confidential alias names to prevent information leakage. So you'll notice we use colors, so we don't do company names. But the only reason we do this benchmarking is because you'll see direct reports is one of them. And this purple company, they have 11 direct reports, the second in command does. So that allowed us to say, hey, how come you have so many direct reports? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about your org chart. Similar with the assessment. So on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate your company's budgeting and forecasting? Well, Orange Company said very poor. That kind of shined a light on an area for us to discuss and talk about. When you are a key executive, when you are a second in command, you have been conditioned and rewarded your entire career to not expose your weaknesses, right? So it is so unnatural for folks in these roles to show up to a meeting and say, here's what I'm really struggling with, or here's what I'm getting wrong in my business and I don't know how to fix it. So by doing some of this light benchmarking, it's a really natural segue for us to talk about some of these things and make it feel a little bit more organic and safer for our members. I hope that makes sense. Okay, each meeting we also do report projects. So we'll have like 1 to 2 topics that we ask our members to prepare a list of questions on, and we go through them member by member. So just to give you an example, these are some of our recent meeting topics. And the reason that we do this is because this is the opportunity for members to give and take and really shortcut to the right answer in their business. In 2025, we are all drowning in information. We have ChatGPT, we have Claude, we have all of these ways to find out all the information that we need, but we need speed, we need transformation, and we need shortcuts, especially in entrepreneurship. So, for example, employee bonus plans. We had all of our members answer questions on what they do for their employee bonus plans, what they look like. Well, we had like 2 members that had this nailed. It was successful. They had been doing it for years. And so after they presented, the other members were like, hey, can you just like redact all the names and just send us these files so we can present to our CEO and see if we want to use this in our business? So those are the kind of shortcuts that these report projects provide. It's a way to just immediately bring great ideas into your business. And then we do a hot seat. So again, if you're familiar with a mastermind format, this is really just your typical mastermind format. But each meeting, one member is on the hot seat where we do a deeper dive into their business, again, anonymously using their company aliases, but they'll come with usually like 3 objectives. Like, these are the 3 things that I really want out of this session, and the rest of the cohort acts as their board of directors and really advises them or gives them ideas on how to solve certain problems. So you'll notice it's different than Forum, but it's really effective. And despite its name, these are all approached with empathy and compassion and deep understanding, and they just allow for growth and forward momentum really quickly. And you even heard on the video, Forrest was really excited to be on the hot seat. So this is something that folks look forward to. And then the last piece of our quarterly meetings are roundtables. So these are crowdsourced discussions, just what's top of mind. We'll capture a long list at the beginning of the meeting, and then we'll chew through them kind of as we have time throughout the meeting. Again, I just pulled the list from one of our last meetings because I want you to see what it looks like in practice. And some of my favorites that we talked about, so scaling down due to a decline in revenue, so low sales or economy or whatever. This member, they were having a revenue dip and they wanted to know, hey, for those of you that have gone through this before, what should I cut to make sure that we're profitable that won't hurt us when we start to scale back up? So that was a great conversation. Keeping people on board with change. So as you're changing things in your organization, how do you keep employees on board with that change? Working with founders was one of them, you know, those flows of ideas that we talked about. So the thing about this, and I think the attitude that members come to these meetings with, is so solutions-based. Like, they're looking for answers and support and solutions, so it never devolves into just commiserating or just complaining, right? Like, there's a purpose to bringing each of these up. So that's the quarterly meetings that everyone that enrolls is a part of through their small group cohort. The membership as a whole, We have a library of downloadable tools that I mentioned. So these are tools, templates, swipe files, just things for members to not have to recreate the wheel right away in their business that they can just take and implement. So one example, we have a value creation planner. If you have a 5-year business goal, this helps the second in command put together their long-term hiring plan, get a general idea how many employees they'll need by what time. So that's just kind of one example of the tool. Following this session, Danielle, I'm going to send these to you to send out if that's okay. We also have sample agendas. We have quarterly planning workbooks, annual planning workbooks, just things that members can download and use. I'm going to send out to you all 2 of our sample agendas that we have in this library. One is a CEO one-on-one agenda for the second in command to use. So this is going to be for your weekly one-on-one. That is normally like an hour, but just that you cover kind of what's going on that week. The second one is for a same page meeting. And this is a separate monthly meeting usually that's more like 2 to 4 hours where you go deeper. It's how's your partnership doing, the 2 of you? What are your concerns in the business? So like what's keeping you up at night? How are you doing on the big picture goals of the business? It's a way to carve out time to make sure that you're having those more strategic conversations. So I will make sure that you get these 2, so at least you kind of have a takeaway from today. And then we also, we try to do twice a month, but we bring experts in to the membership to do live trainings or live sessions. If you can't make them live, we put the video in our video library in the membership portal. But we bring in, you can see we have 2 authors. We try to always have topics that are relevant to the second in command role specifically. So the Building a Strategic Partnership Let Last, that's Hallie Warner. She wrote Founder and the Force Multiplier. It talked all about developing the actual relationship between you and your entrepreneur. Cindy Dodge, she talked about how to build out your sales team, especially when you don't have a sales background, when you have more of an operational background. So they're all fantastic. And like Alex was in London, so these are not just limited to local folks. And then, of course, access to the national community, which I mentioned. We do have a member chat, but then we also will have, we have local happy hours. We have the retreat in Nashville. So there's a lot of opportunities for them to connect outside of those quarterly mastermind meetings that they have. So the investment, we are offering a discounted $259 a month or $31.08 for the annual membership for EO Nashville members per employee. We have different payment options available as well if you need that. This is a 12-month commitment. And okay, let's say worst case scenario, you have turnover in this role, right? You can swap people in and out if you need to. We also will work one-on-one with you to figure out what makes sense for you. So don't let that kind of concern you. Billing and membership, as Danielle mentioned, are going to be managed by Second First's team, not by EO. So we have our internal team, we have a community coordinator for the membership. So we do have a team that will take care of you. But I mean, I'm sure that if there's anything you need, either of us can help out. So what is next? Like I mentioned, I'm going to send Danielle the info packet and then the agendas gift that I mentioned to send out. You can go ahead and enroll your key executive now if you want. It's secondfirst.com/EO Nashville. Our new member orientation is scheduled for August 29th. That's a Friday. So all of that information and the date and how to get there will be included once with the welcome once a member is enrolled. They'll be placed in their small group cohort by September 1st. We do that manually. We take some time to make sure that they're right. We try to avoid any sort of like competitors, like no industry overlap. So we just want to make sure that we get that right. So cohort placement by September 1st. And then we have an optional Nashville retreat here in town, September 16th and 17th, but we will share that information later if you're interested. Any questions?
Megan, I don't know if you're able to bring it up on the screen or not, but would you mind sharing like what a meeting agenda template looks like a live one?
The meeting, oh, like for the mastermind or the template that I said that we would send out?
Yeah, the one that you would use for people to fill out and take with them.
Like,
Oh, yeah, that we have just in our
Yeah,
tool library.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah,
difference.
yeah, yeah. Let me pull that up.
maybe just go a little deeper on that just to give them a
Yeah,
taste.
absolutely. I was trying to like rush for time, so I'm happy to go through the actual agenda and talk about what that is.
While
All right.
she is looking for that, I will just share with y'all, and I see Judith on the call. And I know lots of y'all know Megan, but when we offered this program before, just to toot Megan's horn just a little bit, she was totally the star of the show. She was the just amazing participant in the program that we had before. She's a rock star. So I do feel so comfortable with y'all in her hands to know that anything she does is going to be done well and going to be really rewarding and valuable. So that's just my own personal experience with her.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I can add to that. I was a former director of operations previous to this, and I know Megan for a long time, but I craved this sort of connection and material. And so I wish that I would have had the fortune to go through this, So she's
well,
great.
I'm super excited to start building out these mastermind cohorts, definitely. Okay. So as you mentioned, the agendas that we're going to send out that are in our tool library, the CEO one-on-one. So this is the recommended agenda that we have for you as the entrepreneur and your second in command. And this is like typically once a week. Start with, hold on, let me preface this. I also recommend that the second in command be the one to prepare this. Okay, so that being said, start with the business snapshot. So breaking into categories of the company, the team, and then your clients or customers, whoever you serve. So any need to know headlines about the business for the week. So this is financial, departments, operational. For the team, what are any need to know headlines for employees? So how are you doing on hiring for a new role? Has anyone maybe given notice? Is anyone going to be taking a leave of absence? The key is need to know. And there's some discretion in how much information you share. I think there's a balance that has to be found over time between I'm providing too many details to my CEO versus I'm serving as a membrane and keeping too much from them, if that makes sense. So there's kind of this sweet spot you have to find in what you share. And then clients and customers, any need to know headlines from your clients or customers for the week. And then rocks or big project updates. So these are any updates or measurables or outcomes from the big initiatives that you have going on right now. Rocks, that's the, if you operate on EOS or you do the scaling up or whatever, you're familiar with that term. But again, these are just kind of the bigger projects you're working on as a company. Third are issues and discussion topics. So these are going to be things that you need to discuss and solve together, or areas that as a second in command, you are stuck and need the CEO's help or the entrepreneur's help in removing obstacles. This is the spot that I like to have folks use as almost a parking lot to hold on to things throughout the week that aren't time sensitive or aren't super urgent. So instead of shooting texts back and forth throughout the week or pinging your entrepreneur with all of these questions on Slack or Teams, just save them for this section of your one-on-one and just knock them all out at once. And then action items. So this is a blank space on the agenda, but this is where the second in command captures the action items, the to-dos, agreed upon next steps. And you'll circle back to these at the beginning of your next meeting. So you'll make sure you'll close that loop. Like, hey, these are our to-dos from the last meeting. I did all of these, or I wasn't able to do this one because ... One of the things that I find takes up a lot of mental bandwidth for entrepreneurs is the I wonder if it ever got done. The like loop not being closed. So you'll be cooking dinner thinking, oh, I wonder if they ever did that. And the fact that this is now an agenda item that you know you'll get your update at the latest at your next one-on-one kind of allows you to shed that mental burden throughout the week. And then my top priorities for the week. Again, this is for the second in command. So in advance of the meeting, we ask them to write down what are the top 3 priorities, what are the top 3 things you're going to be working on for the next week. And then they report it to you as the entrepreneur to basically confirm and make sure they're in agreement. And as the entrepreneur, you might think, that's really not like a now thing. So let's swap out this for that. So it allows you to really align on what they're going to be doing for the upcoming week and what they're going to be spending most of their energy on. And then the other tip that we have for this is to keep a shared list somewhere that you both can contribute to throughout the week to populate that issues and discussion topics. As the entrepreneur, you also get things that pop in your head at all hours of the day and night that you might want to talk to your second in command about. So having a shared space allows you to quickly add to it without sending them a text message at 9 p.m. or something. It gets it out of your brain, but it lives in an agreed upon location. Any questions about that one?
There is one question in the chat. Is there anything covered in this program that complements integrator training with EOS?
So compliments, yes. I would say probably 60% of our members right now run on EOS. The way I like to describe it is EOS is the OS of the computer. So like it's Windows, right? And then Second First or this EO Nashville program is like software. So it enhances and it provides additional resources that complement EOS, but nothing conflicts with EOS and nothing replaces it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's great.
Speaking of EOS, the same page meeting actually comes from the book Traction. So this is another recommendation that we have. Again, this is a separate meeting from your weekly one-on-one. This is something that we recommend you have once a month. Usually block out 2 hours at a minimum if you can. And it's really helpful if it can be offsite, but that's not always possible. So starting with a check-in, so checking in with each other at an actual relationship level. This is such a partnership between you two that it's important to check in on how are you doing? How's your state of mind? How are you feeling? Sometimes how's your personal life, depending on where you're at together. And then create an issues list. So this is creating a list of things that are keeping you up at night as the entrepreneur. Where are you seeing disconnects between the two of you? Where are you having breakdowns in your partnership? And being really honest about that. Anything that you have to align on before you meet with the leadership team or the company at large. It's so important for you two to walk in as a united front to your leadership team meetings or your quarterly plannings or anything. So that's what this is. And then any big picture issues and concerns that you might have about the business. After you make that list, that is the IDS part. So identify, discuss, and solve. So IDS comes from the book Traction, or EOS, where you dig down to identify the real issue until it's super crystal clear. And then you discuss and debate it. You share your thoughts until you actually solve it. So it's not we're just going to talk it to death. We're going to filibuster. We're going to go around in circles. No, you go with the intention to actually solve that issue and eliminate it. And then conclude. Again, any agreed upon to-dos, next steps. And the goal is to not end any same page meeting until you feel like you are 100% back in sync with each other. So that's why this like monthly cadence is really, really great, because it just kind of is a refresh each month for you two. And then again, the shared list recommendation that we have. So both of these are going to be the agendas that are going to be sent out for you to start using right away.
That's great. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
There's one question. Do you mind talking more about the retreat? I know that in general, your retreat, like outside of EO, your retreat includes members from across the world. But can you reiterate and describe the retreat a little bit more, and that it's just an EO only retreat, or is it everyone?
It's open to anyone. So the September retreat, I mentioned that it's optional on top of this if you want, but it's a great way to spend 2 days in person with the Second First community. So it is members coming into town from all over, but it is 2 dedicated days. It's the same mastermind format. We have a private dinner. So it's a way to work through at a greater scale, because we do extend the agenda, but it's the same steps we talked about: the hot seat, the report projects, the roundtable, and then just a way to connect and have that greater sense of community with other seconds in command from across the US.
Great.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions you all may have? You're welcome to come off mute and ask them if that's easier. Don't be shy.
Well, like I said, I'm super excited to start putting together the EO Nashville cohorts, and I think that this is going to be such a cheat code for member businesses.
Yeah, I agree. I really appreciate you really considering to do this program with us and doing it. And I just can't encourage it enough for all of the members. So we really appreciate what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right. Well, Danielle, I'll send you the packet and then the agendas, and then you can send it out to everyone. And then the other thing, I'm going to put up one last slide for you guys to take down, because I'm sharing. Don't make me regret this. I'm sharing my personal contact information with you guys. I have never shared out my cell phone number with anyone before. So that is how much I'm like, you know what, EO Nashville, let's go. So this is my personal contact information. If you think of any other questions, or if you didn't want to ask anything, you want to sort something out, or find out even like, hey, would this be a fit for my employee? Like, do not hesitate to reach out.
Hey,
Yeah.
Megan, I've got a quick one. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to do this cohort and new member orientation. When would the next one be?
We do a monthly new member orientation. So every single month we do a full onboarding of new members. The only thing that I will say, I think it's probably similar to if like a member joins EO during kind of like an off area, like they can join. It might just take like a couple extra weeks to put them in a cohort. So you would get all of the benefits of the national membership, but we would have to wait to make sure that we had enough people to put together a new cohort, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, monthly we do onboardings.
Cool. Thank you.
But this one that you're putting together right now is specific to EO. So there's a benefit to going ahead and signing up with your EO folks, right?
Yeah, we're making sure that EO Nashville folks get placed with EO Nashville folks no matter what. So that the timing wouldn't matter for that. Like I said, it would just be making sure that we would have a full cohort to place someone into.
Perfect.
Good question though. Awesome. Well, thanks guys.
Yeah, thank you, Megan.
Much, Megan.
I'm shocked that you put your cell phone on the screen. I can't get over it. Not like you. Well, as Megan said, I'll send out some other information about this. You'll definitely